Hey, welcome to Dan's Model Works. And it's new project day. Yay! And what we're going to be building today is, not this of course, you've already seen that all put together. We're going to do the racer's wedge. And basically, I'm kind of in a position of what am I going to put it on? And to be honest, for the longest time, I didn't realize that this body is set up to have a tandem axle arrangement as opposed to a dually. So that's going to make for a bit of a challenge when it comes to finding a vehicle to put it on. Basically, that's what the question is going to be. What kind of vehicle am I going to use to build this vehicle on? I've been doing a little bit of thinking. And I suppose, first of all, you should know that even though it's been, at least 2, maybe 3, 4, I have no idea. And that'll become clear in a moment. You know, you're thinking, you never have any idea, Dan. But at any rate, I'm actually recording this first part of this project basically the day after I edited this project video. Why the big delay in you guys seeing it? Well, basically, we're going to be doing some things in this project that are going to take some time. At this moment in time that I'm recording this, the modern record truck isn't finished. So this is the sort of project that I'm just going to kind of gnaw away at a little bit at a time. And then when I've got it probably 80% finished or whatever, I'll put this first video up. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. So that's why I'm not sure how long ago I posted the open road camper video. So anywho, when I was building my Model Ts, the Classic T and the Hot Rod, I kind of had in my mind these two fictitious guys, maybe brothers, who enjoyed working on, their project cars together. And they were Willie and Herman. And Willie, he was the guy who was building the Hot Rod. And Herman, he was building the classic Model T pickup truck. So at any rate, they go to car shows together and that sort of thing. And right now they're using an old landscape trailer to haul either the Hot Rod or the Model T to these car shows. And they take turns. When it's basically a Hot Rod show, they take Willie's Hot Rod. If it's more of an antique show, they take Herman's classic Model T. But at any rate, they're getting tired of this old landscape trailer they're using. So they're looking through their local junkyard. And this is a junkyard they've never been to before. And they come across this puppy. And it's on some other sort of vehicle. And it's all painted up in basically, some racing team and everything like that. And it's obvious it was built for that vehicle and everything like that. And that vehicle has had it. It is shot. It's done. No life left in it at all. But Willie and Herman, they're looking at that body and they're thinking, you know what? This is in really good shape. Imagine if we had a decent vehicle we could put it on. So they're wandering around and they're looking for something that they could graft this onto. So they're looking at some old pickup trucks. They're looking at some light-duty trucks, things like that. And then they see an old Econoline. And oddly enough, the body is in pretty good shape. But the engine's blowing. Oh well, that's not a big deal. They do some scrounging around the junkyard, and they see a Ford V8 that they know will just drop right in here. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. So, our brothers have got a project on their hands. They're going to make their own racer's wedge, and they're going to use an Econoline as the cab. I don't know, I like it. So at any rate, why am I doing this? Well, as I've mentioned before, I like repurposing crap from when I was a kid. And I was actually thinking that these vans were by AMT. I mean, I couldn't remember. But at any rate, I thought they were by AMT just based on the fact that AMT has re-released, let's get him, the Phantom. which of course was originally the Vantum. I was thinking that it was basically the same kit. No way. These ones were done by MPC, a little bit of research I was able to find. And this is the Sunrunner, and of course this is the Stinger, and this one was a 4x4 van. So one of these is going to be the cab for my ramp truck. The other one, well, I've got plans for the other one. So we'll just put that one aside for now. So the problem I have is I could have sworn I had the engines somewhere. No, I don't have the engines. I don't have the axles. I don't even have the wheels. So there's a lot missing. So I could scratch build these items, but I think I'm just going to do what Willie and Herman would do. I'm going to find a donor vehicle for them. What donor vehicle? Oh, well, I just so happen to have a Ford van right here. Wait a minute, Dan. Why don't you just use this van? This van is going to be something else. I don't know yet, but it's going to be something else. The nice thing is even though the fit might not be perfect, it has a Ford V8 in it. It has the correct rear axle. It has the twin I-beam front suspension and everything like that. All I have to do is take those parts, make rubber molds, and cast them. So that's what's going to happen is I'm going to make a little shopping list of Ford van parts that I need, and I'm going to take them out of this kit, and then I'm going to cast them, and we're going to use them to build our Econoline ramp truck. So one of the first things that we're going to need for this project is wheels, because I don't have the wheels anymore. And you know what? I'm not upset about that, because at least for the Sunrunner, I always found that the wheels that they gave you just looked a little undersized. And I don't know if it's correct or not, but I always found that the Ford Econoline vans of this vintage always looked like they had really big, beefy wheels on them. Really solid looking wheels. When I was thinking about not necessarily doing this project, I was thinking, geez, what would be a good set of wheels for a van like this? And this, if I stop dropping it, let's get it up close. This hubcap is actually from the Sunrunner kit. So if you wanted to build it stock, you can probably just make out on the dog dish hubcap it says Ford Motor Company. All right. Now, when you put that on the wheels that they gave you, they still looked undersized. However, while fishing around through various kits, this came out of the F250 Super Duty kit. Let's just focus in on that. There we go. But will this wheel fit? Yes, it fits. And let's just put that in the front wheel well. Ah, that looks good. That has the feel that I'm looking for. That big, beefy Ford Econoline wheel. But once again, geez, Dan, if you do this, you're not going to have wheels for your Super Duty. Well, the other problem is I've only got this one wheel and hubcap. So a couple of years ago, I was experimenting with doing some casting. And I created these. These are molds. And they were made basically using brush-on latex rubber that I got from Michael's Craft Stores. This one is actually from I think it's a 1952 Ford F1 pickup truck made by Revell. And I cast up 4 wheels to put onto a mid-50s Ford van. This one came from this. And the resin I used, once again, came from a craft store, and you can see it's clear. So I'm not real happy with this particular casting. There was a lot of air bubbles and things in it. And of course, the backside still needs a little bit of help. It's kind of cool to see this wheel that you can look right through. So how would that look painted up? This is how it looks painted up. So you can see that dog dish is fully legible, Ford Motor Company. And the tread is all there. And you can actually look inside of it. So the backsides aren't super brilliant, but how many times do we look at the backside of the wheels on our models when we put them together? So what I'll need to do is to make a set of 6, because remember we have a tandem axle set up. Probably not going to use this one because it's got a couple molding flaws, but it was good enough as a proof of concept. So that solves our wheel problem. So we haven't even looked at the Racer's Wedge. Let's take a quick look at that kit. You know what? I haven't even ever had it out of the bag. So here's our main body. And this is your storage area, and then of course the car goes up on here. And it does have some nice tread detail here. That looks good. And then what else we got here? This looks like probably the underframe. And this is the underframe, I'm thinking. And these are some various compartments and stuff. And then here we've got the sides and the removable ramps, toolbox. And somewhere else I know I've got the chrome sprues that have all the hardware and goodies and stuff that it comes with. But this is really what we want to look at right here. So let's grab the nippers off of Natasha's hobby bench. I'll just snip that off. And let's just do some visualizing here. Okay, now keeping in mind that this all goes away, this is what we're going to be looking at. Right there. Certainly should be odd looking. But I think it'll be cool. It'll certainly look a little bit different than mounting these on a pickup truck, which is usually what happens. And the wheelbase is very close to the Econoline. As a matter of fact, we might have to actually shorten the wheelbase a little bit. And then, of course, we'll have to put a tag axle in there. That'll be something I'll have to figure out, is just exactly what the rear suspension setup is going to be. Do I keep the leaf springs for the live axle? What kind of a setup do I put for the tag axle? Would that be a coil spring with a trailing arm or something like that? I don't know yet. At any rate, I think this is going to look neat. And there's going to be some real cool challenges. And not only that, you'll be able to see, hopefully, me casting an engine, casting some wheels, suspension parts, and everything like that. Which is, you know what? It's one of these things where once you kind of bite the bullet and do it, you'll be thinking, geez, there's all kinds of things I could be copying and stuff like that. So, that's the project. That's what we're looking at doing. I can't wait to get started. So before wrapping up this episode, I thought I would try some of the resin that I was going to be using. This is Alumilite super plastic casting resin. It's available probably at most hobby shops. And from the looks of it, this is basically the material that a lot of the semi-professional companies that make aftermarket resin, they probably use this or a very similar product. So, using the mold I already had for my big paw Ford wheels, first casting I did was this one here. We'll just zoom in on it, and you can see that it took the detail really, really well, but it didn't mix up enough resin, so it's not even a full thickness. So that was casting number 1. Casting number 2, casting number 2, let's bring it up close here. It also took the detail very well, but I actually put in probably a little bit too much. Now, I've already sanded off the back of it, and as you can see, there's an area where my mold tends to want to get stuck in the back of the wheel. Now, I could probably put a little bit of putty and fix that. And this wheel isn't too bad. The only problem with it is, as I get real close here, is there seems to be a little bit of puffiness in the front. Now, when I pulled it out, actually the hubcap popped out and stayed in the mold for a couple minutes. Now, I jammed it back in place, and it seems to be staying. So this wheel is not quite what I'd hoped for. Then I thought, okay, well, let's use the mold release that I was using with the craft resin. And you can see here's the result. What it ended up doing is I think when the resin went in, the mold release had nowhere to go, and it produced these bubbles. So this wheel is a fail. This one I just cast, and once again I didn't mix up quite enough resin, and it does have a couple small holes in the hubcap, so this one's a fail as well. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new mold of this wheel. Why? I got to make 6 wheels, and this mold is already produced, I think 3 in the old style resin, plus another 4 in this resin. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a whole new mold and start fresh. So anyway, that's where we are with our ramp truck Econoline van. And thanks for watching. And until next time, keep on modeling.